I am the doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got 2 hearts, your life is safe. Run into the master, raw Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not Rick. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else. Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride. It's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space. Oh, what's that? Exterminate.
Cyberman, a TARDIS, baby.
Would you like a jelly, baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go. A new adventure, Geronimo! I am fantastic, so are you. Best come with me, I'm Doctor Who. Welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH, the Masters of the Universe of Podcasts.
Yay!
As always, I am one of your hosts, Prince Adam of Eternia. I'm Adam O'Sullivan. Ooh. Joining me as always is the muscle behind D4WH. She's our He-Man. It's Nicchia Shit.
That's right, I'm He-Man. I'll transform for a few moments. By the power of Driscoll.
Oh.
I am the power. Oh, hello, everybody.
Oh, wow. You didn't need to destroy the chair you were sitting on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love the fact that I can get a deep voice every time I turn into He-Man. And before that, I just want to talk like this.
The only way I get a deep voice is when I'm sick. Oh. And then I have a deep, sexy voice. Hey, baby, do you want to come back to my place?
And anyone who's eating their Weet-Bix
and listening to our podcast, thank you so much for joining us on your breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever.
Yes, please gag now. Right.
Our guest today, he looks like he could do a great Skeletor impression. It's improviser, cosplayer, all-round MC, Scott Driscoll.
Yes, Adam, I can do a Skeletor impression.
It's Skeletor, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Damn you, He-Man and Adam of Eternia. Yes.
I don't think you've got a chance with me.
Ah, damn it. I guess it's just me and Beast Man again tonight.
I'm wearing a pink shirt because in the 80s, that's what they thought feminine was.
Yeah.
Or as to quote Adam and the Scooby Gang, you rotten kids.
Yeah. Get in my rodders.
Let's get high, Shaggy.
Do you want to introduce yourself and how you got into Doctor Who?
Oh, yes. This is a very long story. How long does the podcast go for?
Days.
Days.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we'll certainly get to that sort of time frame.
And that's all the time we have.
Thank you.
We have for.
Yeah. Gee, Scott, it was just nice to see your Skeletor, hear your Skeletor impersonation.
You can put your skin back on now.
No.
Ah.
I left it at home.
Yeah.
Sorry. You just have to look at the skull across from you for the entire time we're here.
You know, I've lived in places where shoes and teeth were optional, never skin. But there you go.
Queensland's getting better.
Yeah.
We're being less skinners.
They're more inclusive. Skin-clusive?
Skin-inclusive?
Yeah.
You can choose whether you want to have skin or not.
Yeah. Should I do the introduction thing?
Yeah.
Do it.
Let's do that thing.
Let's do that, yeah. Hi, I'm Scott. As Adam said, I'm an actor, improviser, MC, all-round super geek. I have been since as long as I can remember. When I was in high school, 2 friends of mine and I decided we were going to start a Doctor Who fan club at school. The first thing we were going to do was a newsletter, and I had a manual typewriter. And I think because
What's that?
That's right. It's like it's an uncrashable word processor.
I'm intrigued.
But you need very strong fingers because I can't use one anymore.
We got about halfway through the first issue of that and decided we were just happy to watch the episodes and read the novelizations. But I have very strong memories of like Doctor Who from a child, specifically the episode The Loch Ness Monster with the Zygons, and I am still to this day frightened by the Zygons. I just have to see one and I have to get a cold chill. They were my first real monster memory. So I've loved Doctor Who ever since. Like everything was just awesome about it.
And look, I think the Zygons are good because they shapeshift.
Yeah.
They have venom sacs in the tongue.
I know, right?
And they kind of, I don't know, their mouths are too teeny tiny. Never trust anyone with a teeny tiny mouth.
Little piggy eyes too.
And piggy eyes. Ooh,
I've only seen the Zygons in the rebooted series, and they just look like one tentacle off a octopus.
Yeah.
Because they just have those suckers all over the place, and it's like
the thing with the Zygons in the reboot though is they are they stayed true to the original designs.
Yeah.
So they didn't change them up too much, obviously, because the back in the day Doctor Who didn't have a budget, so a lot of the monsters get a bit of a redesign, but the Zygons are pretty close.
But I mean, you watched it as a kid. I watched it as a kid. Did you notice that the special effects were rubbish?
The only one I noticed, and this is only because we used to send a lot of packages interstate, was the green bubble wrap monster from Ark in Space.
Nicchia mentions that quite often.
So I remember that one very strongly going, oh, that's just bubble wrap.
See, I grew up in the country. I'd never seen bubble wrap. Bubble wrap was new. I thought Noah was turning into a Wirren.
Yeah.
And I was a bit terrified of it. And it's years later I read it was bubble wrap and it was new.
Yeah.
And so they just wrapped it around him and painted him green.
Yeah.
But he certainly looked like he was in a lot of pain. And I would think wrapping me in bubble wrap would be
But
quite
to this
painful.
day, you can only use packing peanuts. Is that correct?
Yeah. Because until they have a monster that's got, well, then that's going to remind me of Tim Shaw, instead of teeth.
You're deathly afraid of teeth now. That's correct. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a phobia in that.
There probably is. I know that you can have a phobia of the Dutch.
Oh, okay.
You can. Well, only because my husband teaches graphic design and they all have to do something on phobias. So he came home one day and said, these are all the phobias they've got. And I've got a Dutch friend. And so I sent it to her and I said, I have a phobia of the Dutch. I don't. Is
there a specific length of time that someone can be in, I was going to say Dutchland. That's not the right thing. Holland.
In Holland.
Yes.
I don't know. I suppose you don't go. I don't know why you're afraid of the Dutch. I haven't quite worked that out.
Okay, so what sort of genetic percentage do they have to be Dutch for you to be frightened of?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Can you
don't
detect the Dutch at range?
Here's my friend. He was born in Holland, but he's lived here for most of his life. How's
I've got
that?
a phobia.
Yeah.
Well,
we didn't have a phobia before you found out he was from Holland.
No, that's true. Well, he tells me that the one phobia that makes him laugh, and someone did a poster thing on it, he swears to God it's true, and he can show it to me on this thing. It's a fear that somehow, somewhere, a duck is watching you. Now, the Far Side did a cartoon on it, but it is actually a phobia. Who walks around going, is that duck looking at me?
I mean, that is totally ridiculous. That's why we record here, because ducks could never get in here.
Exactly.
Yeah, those windows look pretty solid.
Bloody
So you've
ducks.
been into Doctor Who since a young age.
I would say early 80s. So, yeah, in my early teens.
Yeah.
Probably, I think I saw my first episode when I was about 10 or 11.
Yeah.
May have even been earlier, but I don't remember it specifically. But, yeah, very long time because I'm as old as the earth.
Right.
Well, we established I'm 102, so
It goes up and down.
it does go up and down depending on who I'm trying to impress.
Well, it depends where you are in your regeneration.
Well, that's true.
All right, let's start with our first segment, Doctor Who News. Guys, what have you thought of this season 11 so far? Have you been watching?
I've been
Scott?
watching. Yeah. I haven't seen episode 10 yet,
Right.
But I have been watching. My issue is I watch it with my wife, and she's very hard to nail down for TV shows. So we have to set aside.
Just sit her
time.
on the couch. Don't nail her down.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I tried that. She gets
Good
up and walks
tip.
away.
Right.
Yeah. So I haven't watched the most recent one, but I've been enjoying it. The stories to me have been a little bit up and down, but I think it suffers from the same thing that most first season Doctors suffer from.
Yep.
In that not all of the scripts were written specifically for the Jodie Whittaker Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
true.
think you can tell that in some ways. Yeah, I'm with you. It's always hard. I mean, Matt Smith's first season went so well because that's who they were writing for, and they knew who they were writing for. They were up and down with Jodie, but I've loved it.
Yeah, same. I've loved it too. You're right. There's not as much cohesion as there could be. Like in episode 9, where they suddenly bring up, Grace loves frogs. Like, we've never heard that mentioned before.
Yeah.
So
Are you a Moffat fan?
I am and I'm not.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I love some of his stuff, but what I've missed in this season is a little bit more of an arc. It doesn't have to be the whole universe.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that Moffat's a better writer than a showrunner.
Yeah.
I have a thing that I could talk about for hours where I don't think fans should be allowed to be showrunners because they can't make the hard decisions.
Yeah, true.
the fans should be
Should
the
be
Doctor?
writers. They
The
should be
Doctor?
writers
Oh,
and the Doctor, yes.
But you also need to have a showrunner who understands the Doctor. But yeah, you're probably right.
I bring it up because according to viewing numbers provided by Barb, the Broadcasters Audience Research Board, season 11 averaged 7.7 million viewers per episode. That's people who watched on their TVs when it was first broadcast on the BBC in the UK. Now, to put that in perspective, that makes Jodie Whittaker's first season as the Doctor the 5th highest watched season since 2005 and the most watched since Matt Smith's first season in 2010.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
so that's interesting.
Fantastic. However, Barb has also recently started to track viewing viewing numbers from people who watch the episode 7 days after broadcast on their phones, tablets, and computers.
I'm glad that they're finally doing that because most people watch like that now. We don't normally sit down and watch while it's on because we're civilized.
Yes.
We're not animals.
I've been watching maybe 1 or 2 episodes I watched when it was actually on the ABC. I watch mostly on my computer. So it's good that they match that. Now, adding in those numbers, season 11 averaged 7.96 million viewers per episode, making it the second highest watched season since season 4, which saw David Tennant's Doctor traveling with Donna Noble.
That was a great season.
Yeah.
So Jodie Whittaker is bringing them back. She's bringing back the numbers.
Yeah, look, I think she is. There is still, if you're on Twitter, not my doctor and just some of that nasty stuff.
I have a word for them, actually.
Oh, really?
That I coined.
Bastards?
No. Crybermen.
Crybermen.
That is perfect. That shall be used from now on. The Crybermen.
I've been listening to a guy on YouTube who's posting videos about how he doesn't like the new Doctor, how the show's too PC, very right-wing sort of thing. And it's an interesting perspective to come across. It makes me feel terrible and bad for humanity and, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do with our lives? And it's very insular, like they kind of prop themselves up of like, oh, everyone's saying that everyone loves the new Doctor Who, but I've got 14,000 commenters on my channel, so that means, it's like, okay, sure, but that's like 1% of the people who are watching the series, like.
Yeah. I mean, that 14,000, I'm surprised they've got 14,000 friends myself.
Like he's American and Donald Trump got voted president of the United States.
Yeah.
So we do know that there is.
What?
Spoilers, sweetie, spoilers.
Yeah, I don't read the news.
And I've been to America and I've met some of the most amazing, wonderful people over there. But you're just going to get some of those, you're going to get some idiots.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to shit on our American
No.
fans.
Well, we certainly got some shitheaded Australians as well.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I had a guy that I ran into, I was talking about Doctor Who, I was wearing my Doctor Who t-shirt.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, really? You like Doctor Who? You like it as a woman? Doesn't work. Just doesn't work. And I thought, what do you say to that? What's your word again?
Crybermen.
Yeah.
A Cryberman. I'm going to say
She just say back like, no, in my mind, I just pretend she's got a mustache. Makes it so much better. Yeah.
I'm just wearing this t-shirt ironically.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, there you go.
I'm imagining this t-shirt has a mustache as well.
Well, the female pharaohs used to wear fake beards.
Yes.
Maybe,
would they be okay with
Jodie
the
can
female
do that.
pharaohs, or they have to wait for them to put on the fake beards and they're like, my pharaoh.
And then, Tom Cruise was married, so.
Yeah.
Hello.
We've gotten controversial.
Political. Ooh.
Love it.
Scientologists, please don't come after us.
Or can I hack on the Amish because they won't hear this?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's true. They'll never hear it. You don't have to worry about them.
All right, today we will be talking about the 12th Doctor portrayed by Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi first appeared as the Doctor in 2013's The Day of the Doctor, or at least his eyebrows did.
Yes.
What do we think of that reveal?
The attack eyebrows.
The attack eyebrows.
No,
all 13.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And he said he had no idea they were just going to use his eyebrows when he filmed that scene. And as I said on one of the podcasts earlier, he never thought his eyebrows were very interesting until he did Doctor Who.
Until he did a whole monologue about them.
Yeah. I always love it when he first regenerates and he goes, don't look in that mirror. It's absolutely furious.
Yeah. And I really liked it. It's always nice when they do the number of the Doctors thing.
Yeah.
And then just to see one that we hadn't seen yet. And the accent came across and just like, oh, this is something different. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then I did a little bit of a search on him online and all I got was a whole bunch of Malcolm Tucker videos and was a bit worried about their rating going up.
Yeah. So the reason we're doing this episode is you've mentioned that you really enjoy Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor.
I do,
Would you rate him as your favourite or near abouts?
Ooh, definitely top 3.
Yep.
Because I'm in Australia and it got high rotation here, I'm a very big fan of Tom Baker because obviously he got played a lot more than all of the other Doctors did. Peter Capaldi certainly, I really liked, and this is probably going to get me hate mail, I really liked Paul McGann.
Yep.
I did too.
Yeah. We've had quite a few people say that like Paul McGann because of the movie, or you also listen to the audiobooks as well?
I don't listen to the audiobooks. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it came along at exactly the right time.
Yep.
And I'm firmly of the opinion, because of the way TV moves in the States, that it was the catalyst for the rebirth of the 2005.
Right.
Actually, I do too. I think it rated well enough that they talking to Paul McGann. Yeah, just when Paul Paul and I
chatting.
having this chat.
Yeah.
When he was talking at one of the panels, he was just saying that there was great feeling amongst the producers and everyone, and he was starting to look at schools, and he and what was the name of Daphne?
Daphne Ashbrook.
Brooke, yeah. They were looking at that. They were looking at homes. They thought they were going to be moving to Toronto or Vancouver, wherever I forget it was.
I think it was Vancouver.
And then it didn't make it.
That's a shame.
It is and it isn't. There was a part of me that didn't want it not produced by BBC. I don't know why. I didn't want it to become too glitzy. But now I think to myself, you're a dickhead, Nicchia. You know, we want HBO to pick it up, so we've got to, we can get a little dark, and we've got, you know, some money.
And yourself, how would you rate Peter Capaldi as a doctor?
Look, Peter Capaldi and I had a tumultuous relationship.
Right.
I will be the first to admit that.
Oh, before he was the doctor, or?
No, I absolutely adored him. And I'd seen him do guest stars in Midsummer Murders and all of that sort of stuff. I saw him in the thick of it.
Yep.
And I loved it. And I could tell, you know, his acting's amazing. But for me, the first couple of episodes, he was too thorny, prickly, too cranky. He didn't seem to give a shit.
Yeah. He'd just woken up.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, I've just woken up and not left somebody to be eaten by a dinosaur. So
He abandons Clara in that episode. I mean, he comes back later on, but he abandons her. And there's like a 5-minute window where you're like, oh my God, the doctor is a dick.
Yeah. So for me, I kept going because I'm a dedicated Doctor Who person.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't like Colin Baker's Doctor very much. Had no problem with Colin Baker. I just think they gave him terrible scripts and did the character wrong. And I'm watching, and then we got to Kill the Moon, and I hated that episode. I hated the way the Doctor carried on. And I remember at the end when Clara slapped him across the face, I turned to my husband and went, well, I'm glad she did because I was about to do that.
Interesting fact about the Kill the Moon episode. It's an almost direct lift of an episode from Super Friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Who was the writer of that?
I don't think they were the same.
But what got me back on board was Mummy on the Orient Express.
Ah, yes.
And that was because it was a great story. I really liked it, and the tension was amazing, and, you know, it really built up. But at the end, he said, you have to make a decision. And it's not always going to be, you know, you showed that he did care, and that sometimes the decision is all the choices are shitty. You just got to pick the least shitty. And then we just we got on after that.
Yep.
And then his next series, loved him. Yeah. He was much lighter too.
I will say, we did miss an opportunity on Mummy the Express for the doctor to turn around and go,
Are you my
mummy? Oh, okay. We were all thinking it. Okay, good. Continue.
Yeah, so after that, I enjoyed him.
Yep.
I loved it. I loved his final two.
Yeah.
It was just the first one that I was starting to worry that I couldn't sit through the whole season.
Yeah. And I really like Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor. I think it's very good. It's probably going to be my second or third highest Doctor after David Tennant, who's my favourite.
Okay.
My biggest issue, I had big hopes for Peter Capaldi because I quite enjoyed him as an actor. Obviously, he was in Torchwood.
Yep.
He'd been in an episode of Doctor Who. My issue was I was sick of Moffat by then. Absolutely done with Moffat. I thought Moffat should have left when Matt Smith left. I thought, just get rid of him. Yeah, so I was done with Moffat. I feel like if he hadn't had another showrunner, maybe he could have pushed him higher. Although we do have that Missy arc in that first Peter Capaldi season, which is amazing.
You can say what you like about Moffat, but some of the characters that he created, Captain Jack, River Song, those great Zygons, Osgood.
Osgood, yes.
Yeah.
He's responsible for the Paternoster gang, isn't he?
Yeah. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart's daughter, Kate Stewart.
Kate Stewart.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but he created the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, I understand. I was a huge Russell T Davies fan.
I've got a controversial opinion about the Weeping Angels.
You love them.
I love them to begin with. That first episode was truly frightening.
Oh, yeah. And every time they've come back since, they
watered down every time.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you've zapped me to another time. I'm still safe and happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the Byzantium, then they were killing people. And I'm thinking, well, you know, I mean, I did like the way that Angel Bob would talk to Matt Smith, and Matt Smith got him to say comfy chairs.
Well, I did enjoy the way that Amy and Rory left. You know, that was quite heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was.
And there's a DVD extra written by Chris Chibnall where Rory's father.
And it's a cartoon?
Yeah, it's a little cartoon because they wrote it. They were going to put it in there as like a DVD extra, but they never filmed it.
Yeah.
So they had the storyboards, so they just animated the storyboards. And it's Rory's son.
It's their
adopted
son,
who's older than her father. You know,
and he comes back and he says, this is what happened. And so then he knows. And yeah,
it's a beautiful scene. I wish I had filmed it.
I wish they had him too.
Peter Capaldi's first full body appearance was in 2013's The Time of the Doctor, with his full first episode being 2014's Deep Breath.
Yeah, where he abandoned Clara.
He abandoned Clara, yes. I rewatched that last night. And
stole a homeless guy's jacket.
Yes.
It's a very nice jacket.
It smells, though.
Yeah, wow.
Called Clara a control freak.
Yes.
He really wasn't doing well. In fact, he may as well have just done a Colin Baker and choked up.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi was announced as the new Doctor on August the 4th, 2013, during a half-hour broadcast called Doctor Who Live, The Next Doctor, simulcast in the UK, Australia, America, and Canada. Did anyone get up early enough to watch it?
No.
Yes.
I'm
sorry, I'm tragic. I did. And then I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have 25 minutes of filler rubbish.
Yes.
With people giving their opinions on Doctor Who and getting names and facts wrong.
Yeah.
Did you watch it eventually?
I did watch it eventually, yes. I think it was on just a little bit early for me.
It was on like 4 o'clock in the morning or something, yeah.
Yes, I had my alarm set.
Was it a weekday? No, it was a Sunday.
No, it was definitely on the weekend.
Yeah, it was
so they replayed it in the afternoon.
Yeah. I think I went to someone's place and we watched that there. We used to go to a friend of ours' place and there'd be like 20 of us and we'd sit on the couch and watch Doctor Who.
Oh,
awesome. Viewing parties.
Yeah, we watched that in that manner. And I think we watched, was that about the time they had the found episodes? No,
I don't think so.
We watched something else Doctor Who related the same day, so it wasn't just that. But it was good. Look, I'm a big fan of DVD extras.
Oh, okay.
Oh, me too.
And little insights into the show and that sort of thing. And this was kind of nice.
Yeah, and interviews and things like that. I mean, I make a joke about I've got Doctor Who reference books and stuff. But, you know, during the wilderness years when you couldn't watch it, I was fascinated to get those books and read all the little stories. And there was one I just want to tell quickly about Tom Baker. They said if he had turned around and said, I am actually the Doctor, they would have believed him because he was so eccentric.
Yeah.
And they said he would walk around, he was picking things and, picking plants and they were weeds. And they said, what are you doing? He said, I'll take them home, plant them at home. I like them. Yeah. So he really was quite quirky, and they were saying Matt Smith was the same. So the thing I think I like about Peter Capaldi is he loves Doctor Who.
Yes. Yeah, big Doctor Who fan.
He went into this with relish and he was amazing with the fans, particularly the kids. I mean, they are all amazing, but he knows what it's like, to be a kid who just wants to touch the Doctor. Or
he's known for sending letters to young Doctor Who fans.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the fan club when he was
the president.
No. He tried to become the president of the official fan club
at about 13. Yeah,
but they already had an official president of the fan club. But he harassed the BBC office so often that the person who was the official head would get letters from the office being like, "Can you deal with Peter Capaldi? Because he keeps messaging us." And we need that to stop. He would write constantly. He actually wrote to the BBC office so often. He had all of the signatures of the doctors up to Tom Baker, except for William Hartnell.
Yeah.
But he wrote to William Hartnell's
widow.
Almost widow by then. He was in hospital by then. And she wrote him a handwritten letter back and signed a photo. So she has his widow's
oh my
letter,
goodness.
and then he had all of the doctors up to Tom Baker. And then when he went to university, he threw them all out.
Oh. Yep. He burnt it all and joined a punk band.
Yes.
Because he was ashamed of being a nerd. And of course, in those days, being a nerd was, your name was always going to be Eugene and you were going to have a pocket protector.
Excuse me, is there a problem with nerds?
And hang on, I'll just get my puffer. I'm allergic to dust mites. So, it really was an insult, whereas cool now.
It doesn't have the cachet that being a nerd now does.
No, it doesn't. I didn't realise I was a nerd, even though I loved Doctor Who, because it was something that was given to guys, not girls.
Yeah.
No one looked at me and went, "Oh, you're such a nerd."
Stealth nerd.
Yeah, and I understand that because I was experiencing the same thing when I grew up in the 90s. I thought once I graduate from high school, I'm going to suddenly understand sport and I'm going to like drinking beer and I'm going to become an adult.
Nobody likes drinking.
No. And then I went to university and I was like, oh, screw this. I can just be whoever I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and of course you can. And I would just like to point out that I absolutely adore cricket and I drink beer, but...
Sorry, I didn't...
but
You'll notice drink beer, not enjoy beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Handle beer.
Yeah.
I know.
Although no one can handle beer.
Yeah.
But everyone drank it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Everyone drank beer.
Peer pressure works again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yay.
Of course, when I was growing up, not only did everyone drink beer, but if you were the one person who didn't smoke, people would go, "What's wrong with you? Have a smoke."
So initially, what is it about Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor that you like so much?
Okay, so the one thing that stands out to me the most, and this is a performative thing, as a performer and as a fan of Doctor Who, he inserts other Doctors' voices into his performance. Right. If you go back and you watch some of the early episodes, there are moments where he is speaking as Tom Baker.
Right.
It is to the very nuance of every little glottal stop and the deepness and the way he purses his mouth. If you close your eyes, it goes Capaldi, 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 Baker, Capaldi, Capaldi, Capaldi.
Is that when he does Tom Baker's very first speech when he... in the one with Danny Pink's ancestor. Yes. I was just thinking.
His performance is spectacular as the Doctor. As an actor, he's brilliant, but as the Doctor, he just nails it.
Well, he knows so much about it. But he repeats, when he's unconscious because he stays out. Listen. It's listen.
Listen, don't watch.
Yeah. And he's unconscious. And then as he comes to, he repeats the exact piece of dialogue that Tom Baker said when his first speech when he regenerated. And you're right. It is tone, pitch.
The other thing that I like about him is his joy in portraying the Doctor. Like it's not necessarily the emotion the Doctor is portraying, but there is a look in his eye and the way he moves this is his true perfect life as the Doctor. And it's joyous to watch him.
Do you think that this is a role he was just made for inhabiting?
Yeah. And I think his run only lasted the 2 years. 2 years? Yes. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. I think he could have gone to 4 or 5, but I think pressures from the BBC and showrunners and all that sort of thing curtailed that.
I always got the idea that, because he took a year off, I always felt like he just didn't enjoy the schedule of Doctor Who.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But it's 2 seasons, 3 years though. 3 seasons?
It was three seasons.
Have 2 with Clara?
Yeah, 2 with Clara.
And 1 with Bill.
Yeah.
And Nardole.
I'm rolling the 2 with Clara into 1.
Yeah,
right,
okay. They were 2 because she nearly left and then she changed her mind at the last minute, which I was really pleased about because I liked Clara, but she was so underdeveloped with Matt Smith. She was just someone who was there to save him, but she really developed with Capaldi. I thought the 2 of them had an amazing chemistry together, and she was turning into him.
Yeah.
At the end, when they were talking about the hybrid, I thought that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I watched Darkwater again last night. That was the end of the first series with Clara. And it's just amazing. Like, it has all those episodes that I really liked about Moffat. Like, he had that series-long arc with Missy. Missy's in it. Michelle Gomez is amazing.
Oh, yes.
Peter Capaldi is amazing. Clara is amazing. It's a heartbreaking story. It brings back a classic bad guy. It's such a good episode.
And it is so heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really loved it. And then I liked the Christmas one because they were going to end with Clara as an old woman.
Yeah. And I was hoping that they would do that.
Well, no, see, when they brought her back, no. She really worked for me. There are some Clara haters out there, but I loved Martha, and I always felt like they underdeveloped Martha
definitely.
Completely.
Yep.
And she could have been amazing. And I was glad that Clara stayed long enough because she and Capaldi had this fabulous chemistry. And I loved watching them together on screen. So, yeah. After our rough beginning, we settled into a beautiful marriage together.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with Capaldi's performance. My main issue with his seasons is just Moffat at the helm.
Yeah, you really you're going to get a T-shirt that goes, I hate Moffat.
Maybe I'm
Are
just...
you on Twitter?
Not my showrunner. Although, you know, but
Hashtag
then,
not my show,
yeah. Oh, that's why I'm not on Twitter. I do say I don't like Moffat, but then I bring up things like I loved Missy and I loved, this and that. So maybe I'm just pretending. Maybe I just didn't like Matt Smith because he was too pretty.
Why do you say Matt Smith was too pretty when David Tennant...
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I adore him.
No. See, Matt Smith, pretty. David Tennant, gorgeous.
Yes.
Ah.
There's a
Handsome.
difference. Yeah.
Well, that's true. As I say, I would not be letting David Tennant out of the TARDIS
Matt
bedroom.
Smith would be the one in the boy band. David Tennant would be like Tom Jones, crooner from the 50s.
Yeah.
Well, when we talk about our Matt Smith episode, I'm probably going to just shoot you down with a lot of that, but I will let it go for the moment because we're talking about Capaldi.
Yes,
that's right.
And I forget what I was going to say now because you got me distracted thinking about David Tennant.
Oh, tangents. We never go on tangents on this podcast, do we?
I know. I mean, you know, I'm the one who likes to keep us straight and narrow.
I'll just add it from like a sort of process perspective.
Yeah.
Do we announce our segues as well on this podcast?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just
I
checking.
am about to segue, guys.
No, my brain just runs ahead and then it comes out of my mouth.
Yeah,
And
we just keep talking until we've got enough material and then I just edit it to an hour.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's a little bit behind the curtain there.
he pretty much cuts out everything I say, and every time he interrupts me.
I need someone to talk off, you know, and then I cut Nicchia out, and it's just me because I'm recording an audiobook.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm interested in now, the first time I met our guest Scott.
That's
Right.
me.
Was at a Doctor Who, a very small Doctor Who type of, not convention, but what would you call it?
No, it is. It's a convention.
Okay.
But it's in the old school convention style that we used to have in Australia, where it's not like your supernovas and your Gen Cons and all that sort of stuff, where it's open to the public and it's a small attendance fee and then you pay big for other stuff. Basically, the old style of convention in Australia was you would rent a ballroom in a hotel.
Yeah.
Everyone would
which
pay
is where it was.
$200 for the weekend or $100 the Saturday or what have you, and you would turn up and the guests' autographs were included. You could get a photo and all that sort of thing. So it was generally...
You could pay a little extra, have lunch with them.
Yeah.
But I thought, one, I wouldn't be able to eat. And two, I'd probably go between giggling and sobbing. So I'm not good when I meet famous people.
Oh.
They go, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good.
I noticed you've never reacted like that when I've been in the room.
Yeah, well, yeah. Your fame is it's in an abstract, enigmatic kind of...
That's a great excuse. It's a shame no one's going to hear it. So I'm going to cut all of it. All right, let's continue.
But anyway, so the first time I met Scott, he was dressed as the Master.
Roger Delgado.
Yes, the original Master, the best one. I was just...
hang on, no.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh.
But in the old series?
Look, he was good, but the only reason I dress as the Master is because I've got a beard. No. I really do like Roger Delgado, and he's spectacular. He was my first Master.
Yeah.
But I really, really liked the portrayal of Eric Roberts in the 1989
Oh,
movie.
really? Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I never think of him because I always think of the guy who came in after Roger was killed in the car accident.
Anthony Ainley.
Anthony. Nothing wrong with Anthony except the scripts were all crap.
They were.
And all the Master did was go, I'm taking over the world. Yeah, I shrunk someone. You know, that was pretty much it. You know, that's...
Compressed.
Oh, compressed. I'm sorry. He may as well have said shrunk. It was that ridiculous. But so his dress as the Master, he looked fantastic. He was just wandering around and we just sort of started chatting. Anyway, didn't see him again. You wouldn't have recognised him on the street anyway because he doesn't dress like the Master every day.
No, not every day.
That's a shame.
That suit coat's very hot.
Yeah. And then I met him the second time when I was looking for some actors in my professional life.
Actually, it was the third time.
Was that the third? What was the second?
I've got photos of you from when you did your...
Does
edit
Nicchia
point-
know that
edit
you have
point-
these photos?
Edit point.
Yeah, when I was having a shower.
No. The third time was when you had your graduation show from your improv class.
Oh, were you at that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that
there
was the
you
second
go.
time. The third time was at...
Yeah.
With
and,
Impro Mafia.
and then
Yeah.
Chanster put me on. I was looking for some actors and put me on to a couple of 3 actors, and Scott was one of them. And he came in and he did improv in a role as someone who'd been in an incident
Involved in.
Yes. Well, yeah, he was the guy who was supervising him, and he was just this arrogant professor who just was not interested in anything anyone had to say.
And then he got into the character and...
No, he didn't bother. I got him just to do himself. No.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic, and we did that a few times. And so we kept in contact. And then we were both the storytellers at the improv.
For Big Fork?
Big Fork.
For Big Fork.
Ah,
for Big
yeah.
Fork.
Yeah.
So we shared. Scott went first and I went second.
How many Doctor Who stories were
I
brought
don't
out?
think I told the Doctor Who
No,
story.
I didn't either. I think I told a story about the first time I ever got drunk.
Yes, you did. Was I performing in that one?
Yes, you were.
That's right.
Yeah, you were too.
I do remember that.
You were, because you did the Malcolm Turnbull who said, I've heard of wine and I've heard of a box, but I've never heard of boxed wine. I always remember that.
I do love playing my rich, arrogant characters. Rich, arrogant characters or gremlins.
Yeah.
Those are my two characters.
Go-tos.
But I imagine now, I don't know, but were you I didn't see you, but were you at the convention that they had out at the Chandler Centre where they had Matt Smith,
No, I
River
missed that
Song?
one. I missed that one, unfortunately.
Because you do work with them, don't you?
I do a number of gigs with Supernova.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. And I've got a wide array of presenting and emceeing that I do.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, but the Supernova has quite nicely afforded me a lot of opportunities to meet Doctor Who people and other movie stars and TV stars. And
Yep. So this convention that you guys went to, how many
Yes.
people were at it?
Oh, God, not that many.
60 or 70.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would have said 60 at a push.
Yeah,
Yep.
it wouldn't have got to 80 or 100.
And how many guests were at it?
A lot.
400. Wow. Yeah, there were more guests than guests.
Yeah.
No, we had
Peter Davidson.
Sylvester McCoy. I'm doing this out of order now, aren't I?
Yeah.
Colin Baker.
Yeah.
Paul McGann. Janet Fielding.
Yeah.
Now
Did
I'm
we
going
have
blank.
Katie?
No, that was
she
a
was at
different one.
another one.
She was a different
Were you
one.
at that one too?
Yeah.
Oh
Rival
my
one.
God, you and I have probably run into
A bunch of
each
times. Yeah.
Was this at the same time or
Yeah.
different year?
Different year.
Different year.
Oh, right.
The very first one I ever went to, and that was the one where we had I went with a female friend of mine, and we had 4 people come up and say, "Are you in the right place? This is a Doctor Who." And we're going, "Yeah, why?"
Yeah.
And then that was when I said to her, "Have a look behind," because we're in the front row. I said, "Have a look behind you."
Yeah.
And she looked and went, "Oh, I'm really glad I'm not looking for a husband."
Because Scott was sitting behind you.
That's right.
No, there are just a lot of people.
And he's married.
a lot
that's
of
why.
people with pocket protectors.
Hey, you've got to protect your pockets from those pencils. I watched Dark Water last night, and Osgood has not Dark Water, with the one that comes after it. And Osgood has a
I love
little
Osgood.
thing for pocket protector. Well, she doesn't, because she has ink leaking out of her pen.
Well, it's not a very good pocket protector.
Yes, no.
I love Osgood.
Yeah.
She's another
Oh,
great
great
character
character.
that was brought in by the person that you don't like.
Anyway.
Well, there's lots of ingredients in children's breakfast cereal that make it taste great, but it's not good for you.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Well,
So-
now you're going to compare Stephen Moffat to what, Fruit Loops?
No, the Aldi cereal, the version of it, whatever that is, or the dollars and cents.
I've never
This
had
podcast now promoted by dollars and cents. No.
Yeah. Please, yes.
And also promoted by Aldi.
Aldi.
Were you a fan of Peter Capaldi before he became the Doctor?
No.
Had you heard
Really?
of him?
I'd heard of him. I was never a big. What was the show that he did where he was all sweary, where he was Malcolm Tucker?
Thick of It?
Thick of It.
The thick of it.
Never saw it. I'd seen him obviously in bits and pieces, like he was in the episode with Krakatoa.
Pompeii.
He was in the Pompeii episode.
Yep.
I think I'd probably seen him in bit parts up until that point, but I'd never actually watched something that he was a primary in.
Did you watch the Torchwood series he was
Yes.
on? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But he always played, even in Midsummer, he always played these insipid sort of browbeaten men.
Yeah.
I always felt like, someone who didn't have a backbone.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. He goes in and he starts as the Doctor, and he's probably the meanest Doctor we've had
Yes.
for a long time. And
Yes.
I liked that. I didn't want him to come in and be like, oh.
He did go dark pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started off super dark, like cranky, and then pulled back.
Yeah. They lightened him up. And
Yeah.
William Hartnell was the same. He started a lot crankier.
Yeah.
He pretty much kidnaps Barbara
Yes.
and Susan in his TARDIS.
Yes. That's interesting, because Peter Capaldi was only a few months younger than William Hartnell was when he became the Doctor.
Yep.
Yeah. He had that great, yes, I know, people say, oh, he's older than Matt Smith and, David Tennant, blah, blah, blah. But he had that youth in his face and his eyes. And that's what you were saying, Scott, about how he just had the joy of it. You
Yeah.
could see it in his
He
face.
was up for shenanigans.
He was, and he and Missy together.
Oh,
What a chemistry.
yeah.
That Dark Water where she goes, you haven't been given your hello pack.
Yeah.
And then she kisses him, And then she goes to Clara, you held, and we give you a hello pack. She's like, no, that's fine. I don't need it.
I love the bit when he's there for the termination of Missy's life for all of her crimes. He loves Missy in some weird love-hate kind of way. And they say, oh, we just got to do this. Do you mind? And she says, oh, no, knock yourself out. And then she says, no, really, knock yourself out. I always loved that line. But the speech that he gives her and John Sim is just, he gave great Doctor Who speeches.
Yeah.
It is such a moving speech, and you see it, you think, certainly with Missy it's getting through, and then John Sim goes, and all I heard was blah, blah. I forget what he said, but you could just, I loved that. I love the fact that Missy was coming back to help the Doctor.
Yeah. This is an actor with experience. This is an actor who's done a lot of things. And did you know that Peter Capaldi has an Oscar?
Yeah, for writing.
For writing and directing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A short film.
Oh.
Called Franz Kafka's It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wow. I have to look at that up now.
It's got Richard E. Grant playing Franz Kafka.
Okay.
Trying to write the first line of The Metamorphosis.
I love that story.
Yeah. So,
man turns into cockroach.
Yeah. That's what the whole thing is about. Him trying to find the perfect into a gigantic what?
Yeah.
Oh, let's look that
It's
up.
an absurdist comedy.
I have not seen it yet. So
I watched it, It's about 20 minutes long. I also watched the acceptance speech where it's a very young-looking Peter Capaldi gets
I
up.
know. Even in the thick of it, he's got dark brown hair, and it takes you a little while to get used to that.
Well, not everybody's born with white hair.
No.
And Patrick Stewart had hair once.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Watch Excalibur.
God, I have not seen that film in so long. My parents took us along to that at the Chinchilla Drive-In thinking it would be a lovely little movie. And then there was a bit of there was a lot of Rudy stuff going on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good film for children.
Yeah. Which is the same time my father said his movie sounds happy. It's called Sunshine. We went to see it, and it was about a woman dying of leukemia. So
Oh, my God.
Dad's not allowed to pick movies after that.
That's fair.
Patrick Stewart looks better without hair,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, okay. Well, check that out. If he's ever on Doctor Who, we'll have him on.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, wouldn't that?
Make him the next Doctor. No, make him the next Master.
He would be a great
All we have to do is
master.
ring up the BBC and say, make it so.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think they've got the money.
No.
Although, he's doing smaller stuff now.
Well, that's true.
Family Guy.
He did a TV show called Blunt Talk.
He did a fantastic episode of Extras.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love that. And I've got this thing, and then all their clothes fall off. He just keeps going on about how
But it's too late. I've seen everything.
Yeah. God, I love your impersonation. Can you do a Capaldi for us?
No, well, my
Just
Scottish,
do a Tom Baker.
and then just put a bit of Scottish
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. Oh, no, hang on, I've got to step away
Okay,
just for a sec.
that's all right.
Scottish. No, so that's not going to Sean Connery. My Scottish accent. Oh no! I don't think my Scottish accent is from Edinburgh.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
probably not quite right for.
That's Jamie.
Yeah, it's a little bit Jamie.
Yeah.
It's no Peter
But
Capaldi. We'll go a bit deeper. No, that's not right either. It's starting to go towards Billy Connolly. No, I don't think I've got a Capaldi.
Behind the magic.
could you just say,
D4WH.
but that's not how you make porridge.
That's not how you make porridge.
I love that Capaldi episode.
You cannot hand a man a grander spanner. This podcast now supported by Sidcrom.
G-G-O. I'm the doctor and I've got my go-go-mobile.
Go-go-mobile.
so
I'm a
we-
Sidcrom spanners.
For everyone who doesn't recognise any of those ads,
They're Australian.
That's what TV was.
Yes, usually on during the sport.
Yeah.
Now, although called the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi is technically the 14th regeneration after David Tennant's human copy and the War Doctor.
I didn't count the human copy.
Yeah, and Peter Capaldi says in one of the episodes, and I wish I could remember which one, when I was a little girl.
Yes.
So he must have had some regenerations before we met William Hartnell.
Well, I'll drop a bit of knowledge bomb here as a
Thank you, I love it.
as a historian. In the
Hang on. That's my bomb.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
It's pretty shit.
Who story? Who story? That's the theme song we have for when everyone comes on to become a Who story.
Nice. In Doctor Who and the Five Doctors, when the Doctor becomes the president for life of Gallifrey, back in those days, before they'd messed with all of the continuity, you got an additional new 12 regenerations.
When you became president for life.
Yes. So they reset your regenerations.
Does Councillor Flavian say that?
Yeah.
Oh, God, why does made my start. I've watched that many times. I love that.
It-
Do you know
it's
Australia
easy-
partly financed that?
Yeah. But it's easier to pick up in the novelisation.
That's interesting because in the official regenerations, I'm doing air quotes here, official regenerations.
Why are you waving your fingers at me?
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
Stephen Moffat counts Peter Capaldi as the start of the new regeneration cycle because that's the 12 regenerations because of the human copy and the war doctor.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
So, but obviously, when you're making a show and you're making it up as you go along, you've got, all sorts of things. So,
So when we get to the 24th regeneration, because it'll still be on, they'll be made president for life. They'll find Gallifrey, be made president of life, and then given another 12.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
And to be fair, it is a fictional story made up about space time travelers that they could just go, you get another 12 because it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'll give you another 24, mate. Just don't tell the master, am I right, guys?
Yeah.
I'm just still a little disheartened that you've just ruined it for me. Told me it's not real. I mean, Santa's coming to, right, Santa's real.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Santa's real.
He's a time lord.
Lord.
But the doctor's not.
My favorite theory about James Bond is that someone says he's a time lord.
Yeah.
And that's why he has all those different faces.
Correct.
I would love that to be true.
No, I don't want anyone else to have what the doctor's got because it's unique and I would love to have been the person who went, I've got an idea how we can keep this thing going for 55 years.
Yeah. Well, and look, that was probably the conversation they had when the first doctor went, I'm feeling a bit poorly. Maybe I won't continue doing this. And they went, this show's doing really well. What do we do? Put another actor in. Does it have to look like him? I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, actually, you aren't getting your lines right.
Yeah.
You are holding up production. You're costing us money.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're out, boyo.
Oh, okay.
Well, have you seen the one Mark Gatiss wrote? It's an adventure in time and space.
Yes.
That was so sad because he doesn't want to leave. But I love that bit at the end.
Oh, yeah, he does too, right? Yeah.
Where he's standing there and he looks over and there's Matt Smith, the current doctor. And then I had a little tear. Yeah. I'm allergic to dust mites. Yeah.
Whereas I just bawled my eyes out. So,
yeah.
We're going to watch that again. That was really good.
It was.
And Twice Upon a Time where him and Capaldi.
Yeah, well, the other Capaldi or Capaldi one that I watched again, which is it, Capaldi?
Yeah. Dealer's choice.
Yeah, tomato.
Okay. All right. Potato.
Actually, hang on.
Let's
Peter
call the whole
Capaldi.
thing off.
Peter Capaldi. Capaldi sounds better with the accent.
It does, Capaldi.
Let's all see it in our Scottish accent.
That's right.
Peter Capaldi.
Capaldi.
I don't have one.
Capaldi.
But I did find out I've got Irish heritage, which I didn't know. So every St. Patrick's Day, I say to everybody, "Fiddly-dee potatoes,"
Peter Capaldi.
in a really bad Irish accent. No, so Hellbent. The one where he's chipping through.
No, that's Heaven Sent.
Oh, Heaven Sent. I watched it again and really, gosh, I love that.
That's my favourite Capaldi
It's
episode.
just him.
Yeah.
And it is, I didn't, the second part wasn't as good. I mean, it's still good.
Oh, no, it was terrible.
Oh, it was still good.
For me, it's one of the worst episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh, really?
Just hate it. Because
You're such a hater.
I have not given any 1s or 2s for season 11, so yeah, excuse me.
I did 1.
And 1, 2. For me, like, I rewatched Heaven Sent a couple of months ago. It was on TV. And I watched Heaven Sent, and it was this amazing, fantastic episode. They get to the last 5 minutes, and he starts talking about the hybrid and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And I went back and looked at it again, and I was like, oh, that's right. There was a whole bunch of crap about the hybrid, and it was muddled, and it went nowhere. It was dumb. And I didn't like that.
Do you think they ran out of time, maybe?
No, I just don't feel like they had any real idea of where it was going to go. Like, they added it, then they went, let's just end it.
Like that episode of The Simpsons where they rescue all the kids from the island, and at the end, over the credits, it's like, and eventually all of the children were rescued from the island by, let's say, Mo.
Yes.
You imagine Mo rescuing anybody.
Yeah.
What would you consider your favourite Peter Capaldi episodes?
I like the first, technically 3 of the final season. The Christmas special with the superhero captain.
Mysterio.
Captain Mysterio.
Captain Mysterio.
Thin Ice.
Yeah.
And the one where Poirot eats people in a house.
Oh,
yes.
Knock.
Knock, knock.
Yes. So those were the two episodes you asked us to watch, and that's very interesting because they're in the last season of Capaldi.
And Knock Knock is such a good, I think, it's the acting and everything and the little bit of comedy where, the doctor can't believe that people think he's older than Bill. He just got...
Surely father.
Yeah.
Not grandfather.
But the guy who played Poirot, who is David
Suchet.
Suchet.
And you'll recognize him from somewhere. And then when you said Poirot, I was like, that's where it is.
David, he is so good.
Yes.
He is so understated. It is heartbreaking because you think it's his daughter.
Yes.
And it's his mother.
Oh, such a good reveal.
It is such a great reveal and it's genuinely really creepy.
Yep. I love the creepy episodes.
Although I would say watching those episodes again recently, they feel more like Bill episodes than Capaldi episodes because Thin Ice is constantly known as the one where the doctor punches a racist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Knock Knock is basically Bill's story about moving into a new house with her mates.
I know, but what the doctor does in that when you watch it is he does proper investigating using the brain.
Yep.
He doesn't, there's no sonic screwdriver every 5 minutes. I know a lot of people hated the sonic sunglasses.
I loved them.
But at least it gave us a rest from
the magic wand.
Yeah, and he didn't use them all the time. So I'm now thinking, that wasn't such a bad thing. So he had that change, and I don't know. And I loved his chalkboard, and I loved his library, and I know.
What is it about those two episodes that you feel really embodies Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor? Is there certain aspects of those episodes that remind you of this is why I love Peter Capaldi as the Doctor?
Once again, it's the performative aspect in Thin Ice. So I like the theme of that, which is Man as Monster.
Yep.
I love the Man as Monster episodes where it's like there's this hideous thing that's eating people, but it's not actually eating people. It's being fed people.
Yep.
And it's just doing its thing. Oh, and look, it's chained down. But the performative aspect of that was Peter Capaldi in Thin Ice knew more than everyone else, was smarter, stronger, faster, better, sexier, had a nicer car, and all that sort of stuff, but still took the time in the story. So now I'm going to go to story from perform. But his performance embodied all of those things, but he still came across as that lovely uncle.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode where he signs over the Monster Man's mansion to the street kids.
Oh, I know.
And the pure look of, I really want to sign this house over to her, but because of where we are, I have to sign it over to him.
Yeah.
Just at the end, and there's a thing that he does with his eyes when he's doing that. He's talking to Bill and he's writing the kid's name in the book, Peregrine in the book.
Yeah.
And it's just this, I really don't want to be doing this, but I have to. It's just, there's a beautiful moment there at the end. But I also love the diving suits.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And the lights under the ice were really nicely done. It was such an understated special effects episode, obviously except for the giant CG monster in the Thames, that it felt like they were relying on performance rather than spectacle.
And I think you could always do that with Peter Capaldi's because Mummy on the Orient Express, the mummies... I reckon I could make a pretty convincing mummy of someone else, not me. But the story and the performances and the build-up of what is the mystery and who is this and what's going on, it really, really works. And I like the fact that they don't rely as much on special effects in his seasons because they don't need to because they've got him, they've got Michelle Gomez, they've got Jenna Coleman. I mean, they've got Nardole. So
good.
I know. It was just amazing in that. The whole thing is.
Well, speaking of that, so who would you consider your favourite 12th Doctor companion?
Oh.
Nardole, Clara, Bill.
I have to go Nardole. He wasn't the most on-screen companion, but I think he had the greatest influence over the Doctor, and not from I'm a grumpy caretaker, you're not allowed to go back in time, what are you doing?
Yes.
Sort of perspective. But I think because he was not human and even remotely human, just humanoid, also gave us a really nice dual flavour character. So he looks like he looks, but he's something other.
Yeah, he like screws would drop out of his leg and things.
And he was just just so lovely. Like, I was never a big fan of Little Britain. Like, I liked it occasionally. I liked that they were giving Tom Baker work, obviously.
Yeah.
But his performance, Matt Lucas, in those episodes with Capaldi as Nardole was just spectacular.
Yeah.
And very understated, but obviously there.
He could have overacted that part and really...
Yeah.
But he is beautifully understated, which is what we kind of talked about with Lee Mack.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful understated performance.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, Little Britain, because Tom Baker's voice is why I started listening. But most of it, 90% of their comedy I actually love.
Yeah, it's actually really good. So what do you consider your favourite 12th Doctor moment? Doesn't have to be a full episode, just
I've got it. It's my perfect one.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Douglas Adams.
Yep.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy more so than Dirk Gently.
Yep.
But I really did like Dirk Gently. And the moment when you get to the Doctor's office in the university, and it is very obviously Reg Chronotis's office from the Dirk Gently books.
Right.
And then when you pull in on the desk and there's the cup full of sonic screwdrivers.
Yeah.
And there's not even anyone in that scene.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is, like, he's obviously been there like 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's Reg Chronotis from the Dirk Gently novels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
No, me either.
And
I
yeah,
like that.
it's just, I looked at it and went, so I think they did take some of the scripts from stuff that Douglas Adams had written for Who,
Yeah.
and they used it with Capaldi.
That's good
really
because
interesting.
anything Douglas Adams wrote, they said when Romana regenerated, he wanted to have a different actress play her every week for a while. Well, she kept saying, how does this one suit? And then she'd regenerate. And they said that's not how it works, but I thought that was a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Peter's Doctor meeting Riversong?
Oh, I'm a big fan of the whole Riversong story. I like the fact that there is someone else out there in the universe that knows the Doctor almost as well as the Doctor knows the Doctor. In fact, in some instances better.
Yeah.
Depending on when they are.
Yeah.
I really liked Riversong as a character. I would love to have seen a Riversong series.
Yeah, me too.
That's interesting.
With Captain Jack.
Yeah.
And Donna. They're
And
the
Donna.
three I'm putting together.
Riversong with Donna as her companion. That would be spectacular.
And by the end of it, Captain Jack slept with all of them.
Yeah. Because he's that kind of being.
Yeah.
Well, he likes to dance. Don't they say that in the Doctor dances?
Yeah. But I really enjoyed everything to do with Riversong.
Yeah. That meeting and that episode, how did it go with you?
It was appropriate.
I like that Riversong doesn't know that he's the Doctor.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like that they didn't snog.
Yeah, because they weren't in the same when anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really nice that someone had given some thought to when each of them were.
Yeah.
So obviously it's an earlier Riversong and a later Doctor.
Yeah.
So what would have been really nice, and this is impossible to do without an actual time machine, is to go back and rewrite one of the episodes where she turns up with Matt Smith or whatever and just goes, "Oh, you're not Scottish this time."
Yeah. I know.
That would be-
Well, they've done, Big Finish have done audios with her meeting the older Doctor, so I don't know how that works.
Do you have a favourite Peter Capaldi episode moment?
I do still love when he first comes out of the TARDIS and he thinks Clara is, the Centauran, and he says, "Don't look in that mirror because it's absolutely furious." He has some really great lines with that, but he had some amazing speeches that I really liked, and I would think most of the stuff with he and Missy. The only misstep for me was I didn't like him meeting Davros and saving him, and because I'd seen Genesis of the Daleks, and I just don't think Davros was ever a nice pleasant
person.
boy.
And for me, it's probably, I just rewatched it last night, Dark Water, where Missy reveals that she's the Master. And the look on his face as he slowly pieces it all together. He's like, "You've got two hearts, you're a Time Lord, who are you?" And it's just such a beautiful moment.
It is.
I think my favourite Master and Missy moment from that run is that moment where John Sim is sitting in the forest with the mirror and he's got the rubbish beard and he's putting the eyeliner on and he's just sort of checking himself out going, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice."
He says, "Is the future all women?"
Yeah.
And Peter Capaldi says, "We can only hope so."
Yes.
And it was.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That's it for another episode.
Woohoo. So everybody who comes on, what we want to know is if you were a Time Lord, what is your Time Lord name? Now, I don't have to explain the rules to you because you're a Whovian.
I'm surprised you don't already have one.
Adams is the nerd.
Okay.
Because
of course it is.
Of course it is. That's a nice pocket protector too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But because every time I say one thing, I make some general statement, he'll go, well, actually.
Yeah.
So he's the mansplainer?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no, I like the nerd. It's a better thing.
Oh, yeah, I shall call him the mansplainer now.
Sorry,
no.
Adam.
I mean, do you think I have more testosterone than I really do?
Well,
Fantastic.
actually.
Yeah.
No, and
I'm the mansplainer.
and then mine was given to me by my family based on who I am. I'm not happy with it, but I am the commander.
Okay.
My husband asks ridiculous questions all the time, so he's the inquisitor. And then all our listeners will know this. My daughter, who breaks everything she touches, is the destroyer.
The wrecker.
And as one of our guests, Colin, said, if we turn up in the TARDIS, it's really just a war council.
Well, it's interesting. You'll know that your daughter's boyfriend is part of the family once he gets his Time Lord.
Yeah. Well, we can't give him one yet. We can't give him one.
Let us know when that happens.
I will. I'll let you know when we've finally got one.
Plenty of time to think about it.
I've got a couple, but I think I've got one that I prefer, but it's really high concept.
That's fine. Go for it.
Well, because I do a lot of the presenting and that sort of thing at Supernova with various guests, and I've done it with Doctor Who guests.
Yep.
I like to be thinking of myself as the host.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the host.
So I can just call you host from now. I'm going to call him hosty.
Because it was that or
Hosty.
master of ceremonies, which just short that down to the master.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the minister of chance or the minister of chance. And the meddling monk.
Is it chance or chance?
And
I don't understand.
Valiant.
Capaldi.
It's chance.
Let's go with the host.
The only thing I don't like about that is that you coming on our podcast and me calling you the host.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm a host, Nicchia's a host, and also joining us is the host.
The host. Well, capital T, capital H.
Yeah, okay.
And,
the host.
Yeah.
And who is it that's trying to get rid of us
out
of this podcast
that's right.
and take over?
Well, I do have a tissue compression eliminator at home. So.
Oh, God. So anything to plug for 2019?
For me personally,
yes.
That's a good question. I will probably be involved in a number of shows with Impro Mafia.
Okay, yep. Local Brisbane comedy improv comedy group.
I'll probably be doing something with Big Fork. Been in one show with another company called the Badly Kept Secret, which is the Shadow Collective.
Yep.
I might be doing something with them. And I think we're doing a show with Act React called Titanic, the Movie, the Play.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I saw that last time that was on at the Powerhouse. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this one will be at the Maritime Museum.
Oh, cool.
That'll be great.
Yeah, all of those, you can find all of those on Facebook if you look them up. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Nicchia, anything for you to plug?
No, as I've been saying, I'm keeping my 2009, at least January. I'm keeping open so that I can sloth.
What about 2019?
Yeah, I was going to say.
What did I say?
You said 2009.
God. Yeah,
Sorry.
I did that in 2009
should call you the nerd too.
Yeah. No, you should just call me the dickhead today.
And as always, you can catch Nicchia Shit on Facebook if you look that up.
Did you say Nicchia Shits then?
No, sure, I heard the U.
Freudian slip. Nicchia, please don't hurt me. As always, you can follow Adam O'Sullivan Comedian on Facebook and visit www.thenerdinfinite.com. D4WH is on Facebook. Give our page a like for updates and follow us on Twitter at D4WH Pod. Rate and review us on iTunes, recommend us on Facebook, and follow us on Podbean. We are also now available on Spotify. And also, get the word out. You're in a house, being stalked by a crazed killer that seems to have powers that border on the supernatural. You try hiding in the cupboard, but you can see her enter the room through the slats in the door. You try to keep your breath quiet, but when she steps so close that you can feel her hot, stinking breath mixed with a state of decay, you can't hold it any longer, and a slight whimper escapes your lips. She rips open the door of the cupboard with such force that they are ripped off their hinges and fly across the room. She reaches forward, pressing the cold, blood-stained knife against your throat as you whisper, "I'll never again get to listen to D4WH." The knife stops. You open your eyes to find the killer fumbling through their pockets before they pull out a mobile phone. With a crooked smile, she asks, "Do you want to listen to the new episode of D4WH with me?" And that, kids, is how I met your mum.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking this is actually, you just took that from your fan fiction.
Yeah,
didn't you?
well, post it up online. Until next time.
Actually, hang on. I have a story with that.
Oh, God.
Kind of that. I have
This
some
is the first
friends
time.
who are married now.
Who are killers.
No, they're not killers.
Oh.
But I was there to witness the pickup line when he approached her in the one nightclub in Lismore, New South Wales, and it was, "Don't make me stalk you."
Oh, God. And she's
they're now married.
happily married?
Yeah.
Well, it worked. She just sort of gave in eventually.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor.
This has been a production of The Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?